Hey, Michael. Thanks for joining the Healthcare Digital Marketing Podcast. I'm super excited about this episode where we'll discuss financial planning, especially during COVID, and how you guys at the Medicus Group really impact a lot of the physicians and dentists that you work with. I know you and I met through Victor, who is an amazing individual. But before we kind of go into the questions, I would love for you to just open up and give some, historical background of yourself and your experiences.
Yeah, no, of course. Thank you, Lamar, for having me us, the Medicus Group. Victor was going to be joining us today, Victor Holloway, and had some other engagements come up, so he's not able to join us. But appreciate you giving us the opportunity to be on this and share our story as a practice. But a little bit of insight about myself. I am originally from Greenville, South Carolina. I am first generation Colombian American, so both my parents born in South America and came over to the United States when they were 6 and 7. My grandparents, actually my grandfathers on both sides, came over on work visas working in the textile industry and came over with very little education, not speaking any English, and over time accumulated what in their eyes was a lot of wealth to be able to send for the family. Both sides of the family had 6 and 7 kids, so, large families. And, they came to the U.S. and built a home for themselves here. And so that's where my family resides, is in Greenville, South Carolina, and grew up, playing sports, being very family focused, tons of cousins. So my cousins were my first friends. And it's something that I hope to instill with my children and their cousins. But ended up going to a local university, Wingate University, right outside Charlotte, on a Division II lacrosse scholarship. Had really no idea what I wanted to do. I thought I wanted to be an accountant, a CPA, but really just wanted to play lacrosse and get an education. And, got my accounting degree, minor in economics, moved to Charlotte the day after graduation, and was just, ready to get into the workforce. Got into auditing, hated it, was the absolute worst. It was boring to me, and kind of just got lucky with a finance focused role in fintech, financial technology. Did that for about 4 years, and then, as I'm working with other advisors in that space, I was like, I should really do this. Like, I love this. I love helping people with budgeting, investing, eliminating debt, using my own balance sheet, as a guinea pig and trying things, and then starting to talk to family and friends. And so I decided to go after my certified financial planning designation, enrolled at Queen's University for their CFP program, and it was a 2-year program, and about 2/3 of the way through, I decided to leave my role at the fintech company and actually become, a full-fledged focused financial advisor. And shortly after making that leap of faith, my wife and I had our first child. So
Nice.
She went part-time. I went on a new career path where it's, 100%, business owner driven. You eat what you kill, and a lot of hard times, but that's, being an entrepreneur is a roller coaster. So you just kind of pivot with the ebbs and flows, and ended up teaming up with Victor Holloway at the Medicus Group, and haven't looked back since then. I've obtained my CFP, other licenses around investments, and even my certified student loan planning professional designation, which fits right into the services that we offer from a holistic approach. So, over the course of the last 7 to 8 years have been financial services focused, and have really been focused on that medical space, dentists, physicians, veterinarians, both at the residency level and the practice ownership level.
That's awesome. And so for you, like, how long have you been in the financial space? Like, when you look back at, just when you started, like how many years? And then also, before getting to the Medicus Group, just would love how you got connected with Victor.
Yeah, so financial services, about 7 to 8 years. The first 3 to 4 years was servicing financial advisors on financial technology, outsourced portfolio management, teaming up with third-party investment managers. So I got to sit on the other side of the table where, I'm consulting financial advisors, I'm consulting certified financial planners, and getting to understand what their practice looks like as a consultant and how we can help them create better efficiency by handing off some of the tedious operations and tasks. And so by doing that, it really gave me a lens behind the scenes of what it really takes to own a practice and what types of technology could be leveraged to jumpstart your own practice. So when I teamed up with Victor, I had, started with a firm in the Charlotte area, a broker dealer, and I use the analogy that it's very similar to a real estate agency. So, a lot of real estate agents will roll up under a broker dealer or a broker, and they can create their own brands, so on and so forth, their own teams. And so being in the same office as Victor, we both had a lot of similarities growing up, both being minorities and being family focused and faith driven and just wanting to help others. We really meshed. And so, he approached me with, I have an opportunity on my team. This is what I'm looking to do. I see a lot of skill sets that you have that we can put together based on the synergies that we have together and really take this to the next level. And so he's given me autonomy to be one of the main planners on the team, while, he's continuing to focus on growing the business development around the firm, continue to push Medicus Group on the map nationwide, based on our clients being in just about all 50 states. So, we're able to reach a lot of individuals and business owners throughout the entire U.S. And a lot of that's based on Victor and what he's been able to do from a foundational standpoint.
That's awesome. And I know that, I know Victor pretty well. And I feel like with you guys, you both have a passion for it. And I can just hear it in your voice, the way you kind of explain how your experiences, but then, what you guys are doing now. So transitioning to like, what is Medicus Group? Just giving some more, a better understanding of that organization, but then also like what makes you guys different, right? Like there's a ton of financial planners, advisors, they're all over the place, but what makes what you guys do different?
Yeah, no, of course. Yeah. So the Medicus Group is Victor's baby. It's his child. He grew it, and it's solely focused really on just medical professionals, and I like to call it a one-stop shop for financial services needs, whether you're, a dentist or an oral surgeon and you want personal planning, or if you're that oral surgeon that's looking to prepare to buy into their own practice or, buy an existing practice or become partner. And we're able to help navigate those waters.
Okay.
And so whether it's investment management, whether it's estate planning coordination, whether it's risk management with life insurance, disability insurance, buy-sell agreements, whatever it may be, we are licensed in all those areas to be able to assist. And where we aren't licensed, like with the healthcare lending to acquire a practice or with the consulting and marketing, like such as yourself and your firm offers, we have other advisors, quote unquote, that we partner with strategically so that our clients don't have to go and I'm going to age myself and even the term a little bit, but have to go to the yellow pages. They don't have to go to the yellow pages and just, flip pages. They don't have to go to Yelp. They don't have to go to Google reviews, ask Facebook for recommendations, and just get bombarded with a ton of different comments. It's come to us. You already trust us with some of the most important matters in your life around your personal finances. Allow us to do the due diligence that we're able to do by vetting out other professionals that we want to partner with, that we trust and want to, refer our clients to. So it's a matter of micro and macro approach with financial planning. The traditional approach is micro, where it's you, the client, and then you have a direct relationship with all these other professionals, whether it's an insurance agent, investment advisor, mortgage broker, accountant, banker, attorney, whatever it may be. And it can be very convoluted and complex and stressful because you're trying to coordinate everybody's dialogue with one another.
Yeah.
And you're basically playing the game telephone. Everything might not translate correctly. Whereas with us, we take a macro advisor approach where it's our client, and then we have direct conversations with our client, and then we manage the relationship and the conversation between the client and the other advisors, like the attorneys, the accountants, the consultants, the insurance agents, or the investment advisors if they're not us, or the healthcare bankers. So we're able to take a lot of the load off of our client's plate and be able to assist them and make those introductions on their behalf. And more often than not, who we partner with are individuals that we use ourselves. Being a certified financial planner, that's one of the things that we have to, that's one of our duties is, make sure that if you're making introductions as a fiduciary, you need to do your due diligence. And the best way to do your due diligence is to go through that process yourself.
Yeah, I like, so you touched on the kind of the question around approach, and I think that's so key, because what you guys do is very different, right? Like you do offer the financial advisement side of things, but then you're the quarterback, right? Like you can see issues or holes in their financial planning, and then you could recommend, hey, well, maybe you need some new patients to increase that revenue. And then that's where you can refer to a marketing agency like MedRank, where you guys have worked with us and developed that relationship to be confident in making that that referral. I think that's so key because because like a lot of these doctors, their heads are down, right? They're working. It's hard for them to manage their business, hire people and worry about marketing and doing all the other things. But then you guys can come in and be a quarterback and really help them with a more strategic, comprehensive approach. So that's very key to your point there, and I think that's so important. When it comes to like with COVID, right? Like a lot of these doctors have closed down their practice. Some are now reopening. Some have been open for the last couple of months. How are you guys approaching the reactivation strategy during COVID?
So our reactivation strategy has kind of started at the top and worked its way down. Back in March with the CARES Act and everything like that came with that, the PPP loan program, EIDL program. A lot of our clients were looking to us for advice, trying to better understand the programs that were available and where they should start. And it was very hard on some clients because every state had different rules from a shutdown standpoint. And so, most practices were shut down for just routine cleanings. For emergency procedures, some of them were opened. And then, I'm sure there were some doctors out there that were still open when they shouldn't have been, and nothing happened. But, at the end of the day, they were trying to feed their families and operate their business. And I can respect that to an extent. But what we were able to do is if they had insurance policies with us through Guardian Insurance, because they needed it as collateral for, a loan to start their practice or whatever it may be, we were able to pause premiums being paid to be able to help with cash flow without them losing the coverage that they required. Yeah. We were also putting them in contact with our top healthcare lenders in their areas that we have great relationships with to be able to help them get through the different programs that were offered through the CARES Act so that they could continue to keep their staff on payroll, so that they could continue to keep their doors open and operable. And then as the state started to open back up, it was just a matter of, making sure we were staying in contact. We had a couple of clients that were reaching in and wanted to increase the amount of death benefit that they had on themselves out of, somewhat out of being very precautious with the reality of the situation. And so, a lot of the different carriers that we're partnered with had very relaxed underwriting requirements. So it really didn't require much for them to do that. So it was very simple and streamlined with what we were able to offer, but constantly staying in front of them with, phone calls, emails, newsletters, whatever it may be, just to make sure that we were connecting the dots and keeping them very proactive with the information that they were getting. Because for a span of 1 to 3 months, so much new information was coming out on a weekly, daily basis that it was hard to digest at all. And if you're Googling it yourself, you may get outdated information in a matter of, a couple clicks.
Right. So I'm sure you guys are pretty busy at the very start of COVID, just trying to help a lot of these physicians and dentists navigate, the muddy waters of what they should do and how they should operate and how they should think about their finances, as things kind of move forward. So a lot of people ask, when I have these conversations, right, you guys are a financial advisor firm. So like, this is more of a marketing podcast, but I think you guys still do a great job at, like you mentioned, providing the right information online through either social media or newsletters or whatever the case may be. But talk to me about, like, this is a good kind of marketing segue. Talk to me about your ideal customer, and then also how do you guys market to them to get in front of them?
Yeah, no, of course. So we have, I like to break it up into 3 segments. So we have, our resident clients that are, finishing up residency and ready to get into their career path. And so we're able to offer them a level of service that at a reduced rate that can help them get on their feet, get financially organized, and start building their balance sheet, because that's really where all financial success starts, is being organized and creating a plan around the balance sheet. Then we have our full-fledged financial planning clients at both the business level and the personal level, more so on the business side of things. And those are a little bit more custom based on their specific needs. But we're able to offer, full service, full suite of services that cover various areas of financial planning, like I mentioned earlier: risk management, investment management, retirement planning, tax planning, estate planning, business succession planning, whatever it may be. We're able to assist with that. And then we have our a la carte service for clients who are more so transactional, and we kind of refer to them as customers, someone who just needs a quick fix or needs us to do this one-off solution for them. And we treat them the same way we do everyone else, but we understand that it's a limited engagement.
Gotcha.
So, we're able to segment our offering to meet everyone's needs. And, ideal clients is really, if you're a practice owner, someone who either is starting their practice or has a well-oiled practice and really wants someone to come in and just get a good oversight of the balance sheet and help them get to a point to where they're ready to sell their practice in the future. Because most business owners, and you mentioned this earlier, head down working on their craft, their passion, which typically isn't the books,
Right.
typically not the marketing. It's most oral surgeons are focused on extracting and implants and all types of other types of surgeries in the mouth itself, and that's what they went to school for. They didn't go to school on how to manage actual practice from a business management standpoint. They may have taken one course, if that, while they were doing their education. So we're able to come in and assist with that and help them, one, implement retirement plans so that they can sock away a lot of money, but also help them from a tax planning standpoint to reduce the amount of taxes that they're having to pay out, but also offer some employee benefits to retain good employees, have good health, and create a great environment. But then also look at the personal balance sheet as well, because at some point that business will sit as a line item on their personal balance sheet, but it'll transition to a different cabinet or a different file on their balance sheet, because we now need to figure out how can we quantify that practice and turn it into dollars for them as they walk away into the sunset. So we're constantly reaching out on, a set frequency, monthly really, with newsletters. And, as a firm, we've been able to offer webinars, and we have one coming up on the 14th, it's entitled How to Purchase Life Insurance with Pre-Tax Dollars. So being able to buy life insurance with retirement assets within your practice. And we have others coming up throughout the course of September and October. So constantly, like I said, email is the best approach for us. We had a slew of actual in-person events that we were going to do this year, and then COVID happened.
Sure.
So that kind of took a back seat. And I think you can agree, a lot of marketing, it's multi-level within the funnel, and it's about consistent touches. So, newsletters are somewhat tough because they can get sent to spam or to junk or whatever it may be, but it's the consistency and everything that we've researched. It takes a minimum 6 to 8 touches before you start to see results or interaction from specific individuals. So I hope that answers your question. A lot of it is digital content in reality.
Yeah, no, you hit a lot of good points there, Michael. And I think the biggest thing for, any specialist or professional who's going to be market, because I guess for you guys, before I answer this question, do you market more as a business or do you market as, as individuals?
As a business.
As a business? Okay. So,
and I'll say as a business only because we're more process driven.
Yeah.
Very similar to just medical professionals in general. Medical professionals are process driven. They're not product driven. Yeah. More often than not. Now, in every profession, there are some professionals that kind of go off and do their own thing.
Sure.
But when you're process driven, it's making sure you're getting a good MRI, getting a good analysis, a good bill of health, and then from there, you're able to devise a strategy and a plan to get your clients where they need to be or your patients where you need them to be. And then that's where the implementation of certain solutions comes into play. So by marketing as an actual firm, we're able to, I don't want to say give the impression, because it's not an impression that we're seeking. It's more of a reputation of, hey, we're not going to come in here and then try to sell us something on day one, because we're not in the business of selling anyone anything. We're in the business of trying to help people better their current situation.
Yeah.
Based on the process that we've been using for over the course of, the last 20 plus years.
Okay, that's awesome. And yeah, so to that point of, managing and marketing as a business, I think it's key. You made a key point about just really spreading the wealth of knowledge around the web, whether that's through email or, through a blog post or on LinkedIn, through newsletters, whatever the case may be, because even during COVID, like these doctors are having more time to just sit down and think about their business and their business plans and their financials, and to help them take the right steps. It's the timeliness of the content that you provide that connects with their pain point. And I think doing those webinars, creating that content, as you mentioned, through newsletters, emailing these doctors, I think the big key where to stay in front of these doctors long term from a marketing standpoint is automations, but making it not a generic automation funnel, but more of a customized funnel that if they came through, let's say your website, right? Like this doctor was at home, he shut down his practice and he's looking for, financial planning during COVID. That was his search somewhere on the web. And he finds the Medicus Group's website. There should be options where you have, whiteboards or kind of white label products, or even just content that they can subscribe to on a consistent basis, that when they go in this funnel, there's an automation piece to it that will just send them content, maybe through email, just educating them. And nothing, like to your point, nothing salesy at all. It's really just content that's educating them on a consistent basis, maybe every month or every quarter, that really connects with their pain point, the reason why they came there. And I think that's how you really separate yourself apart from a branding and marketing standpoint with the firm. And we've seen that now more than ever. Like my inbox is flooded right now with webinars and, podcasts and all that jazz. But I think when you connect at that personal level of what their pain points are, and then connect with them at that level long term, then you don't, like to your point, you don't have to really sell these doctors. They come to you asking for help. And those are obviously the best ones to
right.
With. But yeah, just wanted to kind of provide that, that feedback to your point, the good points that you made. And then my final question for you would be, so I know this is a tough question that people kind of, are afraid to ask or even afraid to answer, but when it comes to costs, like what does that look like for a physician or a dentist to work with Medicus Group?
So, and you're right, it is tough because you never want to put yourself in a box, but we do offer certain level of engagements, like I mentioned, where you get, the full service, and you can use us as the architect to build the blueprint of your home. And so in that case, we charge a flat fee, and that's going to be roughly, $2,400 for the year. And we give clients the opportunity to pay that monthly, because everyone pays just about everything they do in life these days subscription based on a monthly frequency, or they can pay it all up front, whatever. We'll figure out the terms of payment, when we execute the agreement. But $2,400 is typically the base starting, unless there's something significant that's required.
Michael,
and what that offers, yeah, right.
Wow.
That's it. $2,400 and for the year, and we're able to remove any form of obligation to do business outside of just the advice. And so it's a way for me to, one, hold my clients, our clients accountable, because they have skin in the game, but two, also protect our time that we're pouring into our clients. And so we're able to devise that blueprint, get it ready, deliver it, that satisfies that fee. From there, whenever we make our recommendations, it's a matter of, okay, well, us being licensed, we can be the general contractors, we can come in, we can build a house, we can do whatever you need us to, whether it's risk management, investments, retirement, whatever it may be. And so then we're also compensated through those avenues as well, just based on the terms of the agreement and who we're working with. So we never want to put anybody into a box, because everything that we do is customized.
Okay.
But on the baseline, we consider ourselves to be fee-based, meaning that, you know, on the investments and the financial plan itself, it's just a flat fee or percentage of assets under management. And then if there's any sort of insurance that's put into place that we help our clients obtain, then, you know, we're paid through those avenues as well.
Gotcha. That's awesome. I think, you know, all the things that you guys do, and just to be able to, you know, throw out a number that like a lot of these doctors will make, and, you know, with one patient, like that's awesome, because, you know, they're running a business, and it's important to have those conversations of, yes, your bank account may, like the money that you have in your bank account may look good, but do you really know how healthy your business is? And
Right.
to get that advice for $2,400, that's you gotta be crazy not to do that.
And keep in mind, I mean, that's where it starts out. So
Sure.
for more complex situations, it could be higher, and, you know, that's kind of just the barrier to entry. So, you know, everything that we do has to be justifiable. We're not just going to charge somebody a rate for the sake of charging somebody a rate.
Yeah, that's good.
But we got into the business for helping others. And so, you know, that's what we're trying to do, is help others, make it marketable. And on the bare minimum, $200 a month for a lot of these medical professionals is very doable and feasible. So
For sure. And how many, like, if you had a number, how many physicians or dentists overall have you guys working with? And is it on the East Coast or nationwide, or what does that look like?
So it's going to be nationwide. We have you know, probably 150 to 200 clients,
Okay.
clients and customers, probably more than that actually. And, you know, we're getting introductions from healthcare lenders where, you know, such and such doctor is trying to close on a practice and close on this loan. They need to obtain business overhead expense disability insurance or personal disability insurance or life insurance to collateralize the loan. Can you help them? And, you know, we've been able to get that done for the lender and for the doctor, and, you know, as quickly as 48 hours, and in some cases it takes longer, just depending on underwriting and so on and so forth. But that's really what's been able to drive us nationwide. And then we have a decent amount of clients on the East Coast, Southeast, since we're headquartered out of Charlotte, North Carolina. And we have a really good relationship with Chapel Hill's dental school. So, you know, we visit them frequently and talk to them about just financial planning, what to look for when obtaining a practice, whether you should start a practice from scratch or, you know, buying it pre-existing, what that timeline should look like, what healthcare lenders are going to be looking for, how to manage your student loans, so on and so forth. And so we have a track and a process to help, you know, dentists go from completing their training into their, you know, their first attending position and then obtaining their practice. And it really starts with income earning potential as well as managing the amount of student loans, because I'm sure you know that profession, really any medical profession, is just going to be overlapped with tons and tons of student debt. Yeah. So just being able to balance the two and devise a strategy so that we can build their balance sheet in a way that's going to be advantageous by the healthcare lender and make that underwriting process simpler.
Gotcha. That's awesome. And so if there's let's say there's a young doctor listening to this podcast, right? As a closing, what would be one bit of advice? Like if he doesn't know where to look where to turn, what's a good first step?
The best first step is really, one, get organized, and two, make sure you're paying yourself first. That's the one advice that I received from my mother, a single parent, growing up, and it stuck with me. And you know, you see that statement in blogs and newsletters all the time from other, you know, money matters and finance, stuff like that. But it's really a matter of paying yourself first and really understanding the power of saving and compounding interest. Too many times when I sit down with young professionals, young doctors, it's, you know, I want to get my student loans, $350,000, $400,000 paid off as quickly as possible. And I'm like, yeah, that's great. You know, you're earning $250,000. You got $400,000 in student loans. To pay that off in 5-6 years, it's going to be $5,000 to $6,000 a month. Definitely doable. But you also shared with me that you want to buy a house, you want to get married, you want to have kids. All these things require liquidity. So it's a matter of balance and prioritization and understanding that right now you're probably at your lowest earning income potential. your
Yeah.
first year in the career, you can always overpay those loans at a later date. So let's just focus on paying you first. Let's build some liquidity. A lot of our clients, when COVID happened and they had to shut down their practices, were cash heavy because of our process and our philosophy. We focus a lot on building liquidity and just saving money and
That's
keeping
awesome.
it very elementary. You know, it's a matter of saving the money. Where we put it, it's a completely different conversation and becomes more sophisticated with asset location. But let's just get really good at saving money. So when all of this happened, it was like, you know, we got 6 to 9 months to a year's worth of liquidity sitting on our balance sheet. So there was less anxiety and less stress around the finances, but that didn't alleviate all the stress and anxiety around just the situation within our country. So if I had to summarize that, get organized and get really good at saving money.
Yeah, that's awesome. Really, really good feedback. And I love that. I love the mindset of how you guys really help them stay cash heavy, because then, you know, as they reopen, they're going to need new patients, right? So then you're like, hey, go talk to Lamar with MedRank.
Right. Right. Exactly.
So I think that's
being cash heavy gives you flexibility and options. You know, when good investment opportunities come up, like to your point, hey, we need help getting more clients through the door. Hey, we have a consultant that can come in, you know, do a bill of health, give you an MRI, and devise a strategy.
Right.
Obviously, it's going to cost something, but you know, you pay for great outsourcing. So it's easy to make that introduction.
Right. That's awesome, man. And so real quick, how can people contact you? Like if someone wants to get in touch with you?
Yeah, so my email address is michael.acosta, ACOSTA, @cplanning.com. And you just email me if you have any questions. I'm also on Twitter, @planwithacosta. So always pushing out content and just trying to stay, you know, plugged in, and always happy to have a conversation, even if you're someone that's kind of on the fence with whether or not you should be working with a financial professional. You know, it starts with a conversation. So there's never any pressure, but at the very least, it's a matter of, does it make sense to work together? And if not, that's okay. We can still be friends.
Exactly. And yeah, I appreciate you providing those insights. And this was an amazing episode. And I think this is going to be so helpful to a lot of young and experienced physicians and dentists out there. I will include all of your contact information in the podcast details. Again, so I'm Lamar with MedRank Interactive, the host of the Healthcare Digital Marketing Podcast. Michael with the Medicus Group, we appreciate your time, and we're looking forward to seeing you guys on the next one.
Perfect. Thank you.
No problem.